Hey friends, welcome to my August Plan With Me video in my bullet journal. This time the whole theme is inspired by Taylor Swift's Folklore album, so if you're a Swiftie, this is going to be a very special spread for you. But even if you're not, don't worry, I think you'll love the setup just as much. A few weeks ago, I made a single sticker sheet inspired by Folklore, and honestly, I got so hooked on the vibe that I thought, why not create a full collection for my August bullet journal? I had a specific style in mind for two of the sheets, kind of a comic-inspired layout with multiple frames that you can also use for journaling. So I did a little Pinterest deep dive, sketched out some ideas, and started working on the design for the sticker sheet I want to use on the cover page. And that's exactly what we're painting together now, digitally on the iPad. Feel free to join in whether you're drawing along digitally or working with pen and paper. Or if you'd prefer something quicker, you can find these sticker sheets available in my shop as well. I already traced a rough version of my sketch on paper and brought it into Procreate. So now we're starting with the outlines. Let's go. Just to clarify, this isn't going to be a full-on Procreate tutorial. I might actually make a separate video for that sometime, so if you'd be interested, let me know in the comments. For now, we're just painting together and I'll share a few tips and tricks along the way. So first I started by drawing the frames. I didn't want them to be super straight or perfect. I wanted that natural, slightly wobbly look to keep the whole design feeling more relaxed and hand-drawn. For the outlines, I'm using the dried ink brush, which is actually free in Procreate. I really like it because the line thickness changes depending on how much pressure you apply. It just gives everything a bit more personality when the lines aren't all exactly the same. Next, I move on to a new layer to start drawing the piano at the top of the sticker sheet. For this part, I do want the lines to be clean and straight, since it's meant to look like a real piano. So I just draw a line, hold my pencil down on the iPad until it snaps into a smooth, straight line, and then I can move it exactly where I want it. That's such a handy little feature in Procreate. And as you can see, I use that straight line feature all the time, like literally every time. I just can't draw a perfect straight line on my own, and sometimes they come out ridiculously wobbly. Once the basic shape is done, I start adding little random lines on the piano keys, just to give it some form and a bit of a 3D feel. I don't know what it is, but I love adding these tiny lines everywhere. I feel like it instantly makes everything look more like a cute little illustration. Maybe that's part of my art style? Not really sure. Honestly, I still don't really know what my art style is exactly. I think I've been in a style discovery phase for like 3 years now. Or is that just how it always is as an artist? Let me know in the comments if you figured it out, because I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm honestly in love with the main illustration I chose for the cover page. It's a coffee cup sitting right on top of the sheet music for August by Taylor Swift. I mean, how perfect is that? I don't know how much you already know about the album, probably more than I do, to be honest, but if you've never listened to it at all, I'd love to share the little story that runs through it. Taylor is just insanely good at storytelling, and once you know the context, especially behind August, it adds so much more meaning. It's not just a song, it's a part of a bigger narrative, and it's honestly kind of heartbreaking in the best way. So yeah, let me tell you about it. Taylor Swift's Folklore is full of hidden stories, but one of the most beautiful and heartbreaking is the love triangle told through 3 songs: Cardigan, August, and Betty. It starts with Cardigan, which gives us Betty's perspective, years later reflecting on a young love that didn't go the way she thought it would. She sings, "When you are young, they assume you know nothing," and that line just sets the tone for the whole story. Betty was the one who was left behind, but she's not bitter, just older, wiser. She remembers how it felt to be loved, to be heard, and to grow from it. That's why Cardigan feels warm and vintage, but also deeply emotional, like an old journal entry that still makes your heart ache a little. Then comes August, a shift in tone and energy. Here we hear the voice of the unnamed girl James spent the summer with. She fell hard for something that was never fully hers. She sings, August slipped away into a moment in time, and I can see us lost in the memory. And you can just feel the nostalgia and heartbreak. It was real for her, even if it wasn't for him. She wasn't trying to hurt anyone, she was just caught in the middle, hoping for more. Finally, there's Betty, where James speaks. It's the most raw and impulsive of the 3 songs. He's just 17, full of regret and unsure how to make things right. The worst thing that I ever did was what I did to you. He wants Betty back, but it's not clear whether he truly understands the pain he caused. His voice is immature, messy, but also very human, which makes this triangle feel so real. None of them are villains, they're just young people learning about love, time, and consequences. To try and capture this atmosphere, I designed the new sticker sheets inspired by Folklore. Soft faded colors, handwritten lyrics, all the things that make Folklore feel like a quiet memory. We're painting the first sheet together right now as I speak, and I'll be using all of them throughout this month's setup. What I really love about Taylor's music, and especially this album, is her storytelling. She's known for that. Sometimes you have to really dive into the lyrics to understand what she's saying, because it's not always obvious. At first, I didn't even focus much on the words. I already loved the music, the mood, the feeling of it all. But the more I started paying attention to the lyrics, the more everything opened up. It just gets even better when you realize the layers hidden underneath. And that's kind of what I tried to reflect here, that quiet, layered feeling of Folklore now in my journal. And now we're finally moving on to the coloring stage. I'm saving my second design here to use it as a reference. I always like having something to look at while I work. Coloring, especially the first base layer without details, shadows or highlights, is honestly one of my favorite parts. After all that focus during the outline stage, it's just such a nice change of pace. You don't really have to think too much, you can just relax and fill things in. Most of the time I outline a shape first and then drag the color inside to fill it. It's quick and super satisfying. I do the same thing for the circle inside the coffee cup. You just draw the outline, hold it, and tap with another finger to snap it into a perfect circle. After that, I fill it with the color. Once the base is done, I move on to details. For sticker sheets, the detail level isn't as crucial since the designs are printed small anyway, and a lot of fine lines don't really show up that well in the final print. Right now I'm also working on a new design for an art print, and that's a whole different level when it comes to detail. But still, even with stickers, I love adding shadows and highlights. They bring the illustrations to life and make everything feel more dimensional. Now we're finally ready to start setting up the actual bullet journal, using these colored pencils and my brand new sticker sheets. First, we have the sheet we just finished painting together. That's the one I'm using for the cover page. Then there's another sheet that's perfect for journaling. It has these little sections that kind of look like washi tape, and they're great for decorating and dividing up your pages. I actually managed to include the name of every Folklore song in that one. Next, I have 2 functional sheets made specifically for journaling, with headers, weekdays, and trackers, all designed in Folklore style typography. Thank goodness I'm currently studying graphic design and have access to the Adobe Suite at the student price. And finally, there's the very first sheet I made, now updated with that nice soft gray bar at the top, inspired by the album's color scheme. All of these sticker sheets are available in my shop now, by the way. I'd be so happy if you check them out. For the cover page, I'm using this gray cardstock as the background. I found it in my drawer and it matches the vibe perfectly. I trimmed it to fit the page and glued it down. And then it's time for the giant sticker we just painted together. I printed the design in 2 sizes, and both versions are available in the shop, depending on how big your bullet journal is. I basically just stuck the whole sheet right onto the page, and honestly, I've never made a cover page look this good, this fast. Of course, I could stop there. I had to add a little quote and some flowers around it. Totally optional, but I couldn't resist. The quote is from August, where the unnamed girl sings, "Wanting was enough, for me it was enough, to live for the hope of it all." Whew, that line gets me every time. She's basically saying that even though she knew James was never really going to stay, she still hoped. For her, that hope, that feeling was real and meaningful. Poor August. Or should I say Augustine? Taylor once said that in her mind, the girl's name was Augusta or Augustine, but for me, she'll always be just August. For the calendar page and all the other headings, I of course used my Heather sticker sheet. It also has little flowers on it, which are perfect for decorating the titles and adding a soft touch. This month's calendar is set up as a big table, because let's be real, I always seem to have more plans in summer than during the colder months. I also tried to mimic the Folklore font for the title, although it didn't turn out quite how I imagined. I don't know what happened there. Normally I'm pretty good at hand lettering, but thankfully I made these stickers, so I didn't have to stress about writing everything by hand. Next to the calendar grid, I added a section for notes, and right below that there's a this month era, a space where I can write down my goals or little reminders. And of course, in the top right corner, I had to include another quote. I used that same gray paper again to bring in a bit of a crafting feel. It adds some texture and works perfectly as a background for quotes. Before I glued that down, I decorated the area with my washi tape style stickers. This time the quote is from Cardigan. When I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. So beautiful. And yes, obviously, I had to include a cardigan sticker to go with it. What else? I don't think I need to say much about the next two pages. They're simple but super helpful. On the left, I've got my weekly goals section. I include this in my bullet journal every month because it really helps me keep track of everything. Breaking things down into smaller goals each week makes the big monthly goal feel way less intimidating. And on the right side, there's a page just for my thoughts, kind of like a little diary space. I use it to write down whatever's on my mind, either in full sentences or just keywords and fragments. You should definitely try it out sometime. Some of the things that come out of your head when you let it flow, like that are surprisingly weird in a good way. The next two pages are for my mood tracker and habit tracker. I'm really curious to see how the mood tracker will look at the end of the month. Each day I draw a colored line down from the numbers 1 to 31, depending on my mood. By the end of August, the whole page should be full of colors. The color key at the bottom shows which mood matches which color. I'll share the final result on my Instagram account at the end of the month, so if you're curious how the mood tracker looks like in the end, you can see it there. And of course, there's another quote at the bottom of the page, this time from Mirrorball. Spinning in my highest heels, love, shining just for you. It's such a soft but powerful line. I love how vulnerable and beautiful it is, like this quiet way of saying, I'm trying so hard to be everything you need. Mirrorball is about the quiet pressure to constantly perform, adapt, and be who others want you to be, like a mirror ball reflecting everyone around you. It's about craving connection, feeling fragile, and still chosen to shine for others, even when you feel broken inside. Inspired by the song, I created a mirror ball sticker and used a stripe from the washi sticker sheet along with a few individual stickers like the butterfly and the book full of stories from the original Folklore sheet. Then it was time for the habit tracker, and honestly, I've never set one up this quickly. I used that long sticker that covers half of the page, so in love with it, and suddenly the whole layout just came together beautifully. I simply added the empty tracker tables from the sticker sheet, labeled my habits, and that was it. Of course, you can also draw them by hand. I do that often too, but I was amazed at how quick and easy it was with the stickers. I finished the page with a bit of washi at the bottom and some hand-drawn flowers, and just like that it was done. Next comes my reflection page, which is a regular part of my bullet journal. I used the "To live for the hope of it all" sticker here, a little ironically, since this is where I write down what I want to improve next month. Then I suddenly remembered I had a calendar sticker with August on it, had to quickly add that to my monthly overview page. My August reflection is divided into 4 sections: a general monthly summary, things I noticed in my mood or habit tracker, thoughts, moments of inspiration, anything that stood out. A little list of successes, from baking bread to making a sale in my shop, big or small, it all counts. What I want to do better next month, gentle reminders to myself. And finally, my favorite moments of August. I love writing these down because it makes me relive them and end the month on a positive note. And of course, adding a few more stickers just make it even more fun. On the very last page, I set up my social media tracker. I didn't make a sticker for this part since it probably isn't relevant for most people, so I just hand-lettered the heading. Then I added my usual table to track growth and learnings across different platforms from the start to the end of the month. And that brings us to the end. Now it's time for the flip through. You'll see each page in detail. If you stayed until the end, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd love it if you gave this video a like, commented with your favorite folklore lyric, or subscribed to the channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to recreate any of these pages, you can find all the stickers in my shop. Thanks so much for being here. Take care and see you next time. Bye!